All right.
Back in it.
Adam.
What's up,
What's
man?
up, brother? How are you, man?
Good to see you,
What's
dog.
going on, dude? Thanks for coming again.
Be
Appreciate you
here
being
once
here, brother.
again.
Yeah.
Be here.
Good to see you, man. I know Lisa was supposed to join us. She's a little sick. She's going to watch this whole thing back and be like, man, I should have been there. You know, but how's she doing right now?
Honestly, she's good. You know, we're at our highest ever body weight. So when you're pushing someone in the off season, as you know, it's all about the food. Everything else is secondary to that. And I told her, like, trust the process, be willing to gain some weight and hold it for a while. And now she's like hitting all these crazy PRs and doing stuff that she's never done in the gym, and all her measurements are really good. And I think she's like, oh, okay, that was probably a good choice.
Right.
Maybe that was worth it.
Is she in her head about the way she looks right now?
I
Like
was gonna ask that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
fat wise?
Oh, yeah.
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 Female athletes, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
when they get to that peak off season,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter how tight they are. They're not the way they were when they were on stage. And,
Exactly.
you know, but like that's just the price that, you know, you got to pay, especially if you don't want to do things that will cause you to have a shorter career. Then you got to do things the hard way. You got to eat, you got to train.
Yep. And that's like the biggest thing that we see with our athletes, man. It is tough to get these girls to eat. I just picked up a girl today, actually, or this week. Her name's Heather, competing up north, natural client, really, I don't want to say skinny because that's a bad word. She's just good. She's just scared to get big, right? Like just really in shape, like lean all the time. Like, dude, you need massive amount of improvement to like go to like a national level show and get your pro card.
Right.
You have to be willing to put on some body fat
They're very competitive.
and get big. And these bikini girls ain't playing anymore,
they're
you know?
not.
Especially with the fit model division, right? Now you can separate that. We're gonna get your, idea about that a little bit
now,
as well. But
now, like, if you're going to be bikini, you got to really be bikini.
exactly, exactly.
Yep.
And just going back to that is that we have to embrace all phases of a competition prep, on season, off season, the body of which you get, and again, like we're saying, it really affects the women most. And I have a couple guys that they're around the same thing. I get texts like every
Some guys, but guys generally, like, I'm happy when I see the scale go up.
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm absolutely
250, perfect.
Bro, last week I started out, like I was telling him, I was like 226, 227. And I mean, I got sick. Thanksgiving, lost about 20 something pounds. I was so like my soul hurt. You know what I mean? I worked hard for that weight, and then, I kind of tried to cruise and keep my weight up a little bit, and then, it just wasn't working. I just couldn't eat enough. My metabolism kind of stayed high. And now that we upped some things for last week
awesome.
on Monday, and now I'm up
little
like
extra
10
stuff.
pounds from last week. So I'm like, oh my God, thank God.
Feels good.
It feels great. Feels great. I feel fuller, you know what I mean? Everything feels good. Things are
Better
rolling.
because I lost a little weight during the holidays too, and now I got it back on. I'm like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
So when are you going to compete, man? Anytime soon?
Oh, that's a great question.
Man, people have been asking me that a lot lately, so I guess that means that I'm looking like I'm in better shape, that's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
I'm 39, so next year is Masters 40 and up.
Yep.
And so I'm just kind of debating, like, am I gonna wait until after that, or am I gonna dip my toes into the water now?
Right. Well, I talked about this story once before, right? But there was this guy, huge. You're obviously a big guy, right? He wanted to compete for his entire life. His thing was, I'm not big enough. I'm going to keep growing. I'm keep growing, right? And he actually ended up passing away when he was like 24 years old, right? He never had the chance to get to stage. You never know what's going to happen. So I say just get your ass on stage finally.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Give the people what they want and then see how that goes,
So I will say this, I was trying to prep. It's been a while. Anyways, maybe a year ago, and I had an injury to my foot. I dropped a plate on my...
That happens all the time.
I was benching and the weight fell off the machine. And I
Okay.
had my legs out wide, posted up for balance, and it came straight down, shattered my foot.
Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second.
you had I had a shit ton of weight on the bar. You know what I mean?
No, but how does this foot get all the way by the weight?
This man was
Motherfucker. What were we doing? Like some powerlifting or what were you doing?
Hammer strength decline.
Okay,
And, And so like it kind of pushes
yeah,
you
you're
down.
right.
So you can kind of like put your feet out real wide to like
That makes sense.
brace.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guess just, I don't know.
So it came down, smash. You have surgery or anything or no?
No, but like I couldn't do any cardio after that. It was like months while my foot was messed up, and I was like, oh,
Wow.
there goes prep.
Who was coaching you?
I was just prepping myself.
Prepping yourself? What about Kamal pushing you in the gym? Was it back then?
Kamal is and always has pushed me in the gym. And
Yeah.
He's like always like, come on, just do it, get on stage, stop fucking around. Like you train with me, you're
Yep.
here every day. I don't know what you're waiting for. And it's like you said, like you always want to be a little bit bigger, especially when you're around guys that are like
Yeah, man.
really good pros.
Yeah.
So, you want to like do well for them. But yeah, I'm getting the itch again.
You'll get on stage when the time's right, you know. So a big thing we just talked about this. You know, Lee Priest had a jump in the Masters Olympia.
yeah.
That is official now.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's official, right?
According to him, it's official.
According to him, it's official. Okay.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that? How does Kamal feel about that?
Kamal loves it. Kamal, because Kamal's from that era. You know, Kamal competed in the '90s.
Yep.
Unlike a lot of guys that are at it right now, like he's been through those eras. He loves the golden era physiques. I think that it would be like really cool for him to go back against like the old guard.
Right.
Like some of the best physiques of all time that we've ever seen in any era came out of Lee Priest's era, and he was part of that. Like, my God, man, that guy's arms. So
They're still big.
still really impressive.
Still nuts.
I think it'd be good. I think it'd be a good matchup for Kamal. Honestly, I think Kamal will compare very well against
Yeah.
Lee.
Dibs on, you know, I'm betting on Kamal. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Can we bet on the fucking Olympia? Can somebody make that happen? Because, like,
You can bet on everything else right now.
you can bet on everything else, right?
Just because you just became an insane betting freaking strategist.
3 weeks ago, guys.
This guy's
I got a 10 leg parlay. I'm going to fucking get $1 million on. Don't worry about it.
Dude, keep it going. If you can add an 11th leg for Kamal, then you just
That's what I'm saying.
Make it $1 billion.
It's done. Because I think Kamal's got it 100%.
I mean, I think it'd be pretty cool, you know, interesting to be able to do something like that. And be like, you know, you can bet on your top 3, top 5. You
That'd
know
be
what I mean?
sick.
I think that'd be pretty
I don't know
sick.
how that's not happened.
I bet that
already.
was
Yeah.
all in on Kamal.
Yeah.
All in on
Would you
Kamal
every
and
dollar
Masters.
right now? Every dollar Masters.
Everything
So-
that's left over after the crypto crash from last night.
I did not see that. What's XRP at right now? What's XRP at?
XRP was at like 233.
Wow.
Last time I checked, but
Wow.
dude, it below $2
Yesterday.
yesterday.
Yesterday went below $2.
Yeah.
No, it did not.
Yeah.
Wow. Did Trump do something or what happened? What happened?
It's the tariffs.
Oh,
Everyone's
okay.
Freaking out about that. I don't want to make this
Got you.
political, but you know.
No, it's fine. We don't care. I'll talk about it. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Damn. So Levi's probably really pissed. So I actually told his ass, I'm like, bro, he's got a lot of money in it. Like he could, you know, it goes up a cent. He's making, you know, a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, you know, it went up to what, 330 or something like that?
330 was the
about
high.
330.
Yeah.
And I had to talk to him like, dude, you might want to sell, you know what I'm saying? And
might
let
be-
it crash and then
might
buy
be-
again and go back up.
Yeah.
He did it. And then you just see it just go down. He's so mad, you know?
I sold a good amount, and I'm so happy I did. And I wish I just sold everything just to, because like
Yeah.
everything that was left in cash, I was like, all right, this is the bottom. Let's go.
Yep, yep.
But man, it freaks you out when you don't have a lot of money, when you don't have fucking millions of dollars, and everything you do have is tied up in that shit. And makes you freak out a little bit when you see it go down. Even
I love it
for
though,
half a day.
right? Like I kind of like it though because the more it goes down, the more I put in. It's just you just keep buying lower and average down. You know what I'm saying? You're never losing until you sell. So
Bring that average
you know,
price down.
exactly. So all the things you sold out, you just buy back now, and then you're gonna make the money. Because give it 2 more months, dude. Everything's gonna go through the roof again. You know, in my opinion.
I don't think we're at like the end of the run yet.
Yeah.
No.
Because you know, like back in 2022 when it was 2022, right? When everything was crazy, 2021, 2022, fucking it was a raging market, right? And then it crashed. Now, that's when Biden got in. Let's be honest, Biden ruined the economy. Everything went down. But now I have this talk to people like, I think we're going to see another crash. Like I do think we're going to see something go down. It can't just stay high forever, right? So when is that? You know?
I mean, you're asking the guy that wished that he already knew, but I don't really know any more than anyone else. I think you're right. I think we're going to see. I mean, God, we're bodybuilders talking about the economy,
Crypto.
but of course, we've been in such a like inflated market with like the tech stocks and the AI shit, and it's like also overvalued. And then we're kind of into like potential trade war. Yeah, I think we're gonna get a crash this year for sure.
That's what I think. It's just when. It's like when do you sell out? That's
How much more do you want to try to ride out those gains?
Yep. And I don't know about you, man, but I'm actually okay. So let's be honest. When you know crypto first came out, it was crazy. Everyone was making money, and then you seen the crash. Nobody knew that it was going to come back. Right? Now we know for a fact this came back. Okay, this is the second time it's went on a bull run. Fucking Bitcoin's over 100,000, right? So I want it to crash again because if it does crash again, I'm putting every fucking cent I have in that. Because if it happens,
that's your best chance.
If it happens 2 times, it's gonna happen 3. I just didn't think it was gonna happen twice.
Like you don't really make money during the bull run. You make it putting all your money in during the bear before the bull.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
So if you're smart, you know that everything eventually comes back up, and you know that like if it really does crash, as long as you don't ride it down to the bottom, then it's probably your best chance to like make a lot of money.
Exactly. So Yep. All right. Let's
Hopefully
get back to
bunch
it.
of
You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we all our crypto endeavors all go well, and we all make a lot of money. And there's no big crash this year, but be ready to sell.
This is not financial advice.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
financial
don't listen to
advice.
us.
Don't listen to me. Definitely don't listen to me. I'm negative in betting right now. Okay. I want to make my money back on my 10 leg parlay. All right. So real quick, Nick Walker Martin, me and him have been talking about this for a while. I want to get your opinion on it. You've seen these guys. I don't know if you've seen them in person. They've been in MI40, right? No?
Yeah. I've seen Martin.
You've seen both of them?
And
Nice.
of course.
Who you got?
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna just put that out there. But Nick Walker just posted, "There's no way that old Martin is gonna beat me on my worst day."
Yeah.
I don't know about that, Nick. I don't know about that. You better, step your fucking game up. That's all I gotta say. But go ahead.
What are your thoughts?
Martin's making faster improvements
Exactly.
right now. So yeah, I would say like I don't think Martin has it yet. Like, dude, Walker's so big.
He's a big boy.
He's so big. And his legs look pretty good. Last time I saw, they're looking like a little improved. I don't think it's Martin's time, but I think like in time, then he's like right up there with the best in the world. Top 5 Olympia, like all day. I think he can. It's just his frame and his, he's good because he's pretty and he's got a small waist. He's got good muscle bellies. And then you put him next to the biggest mass monster and you're like, oh, you need more mass, dude. But if he gets more mass with that shape, I think he could be deadly.
I mean, he got 4th last year, right? I think the last time Nick Walker stepped on the stage, he got 4th. So now it's a battle of the 4th placers. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We've been talking about this. I think Martin's going to beat him this year.
I think when you see him next to the other guys that are the biggest, you're going to be like, we need more size out of Martin. I'm speculating because I do think Martin has what it takes. I just don't think he's quite there yet.
Yeah. And you think Nick Walker will beat him then in Pittsburgh?
I think this time, yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. I do.
It's going to be a battle. I was telling him, it's very close. I mean, Martin showed up to Olympia, next level. His back, dude, was phenomenal, right? I do think Nick's going to kill him on the sides. Nick's side chest is like probably one of the best in the business, in my opinion.
Best side shots around.
Unbelievable. Like crazy good. And I think, did you like it better when he flexed his abs down? Remember when he came out and he hit the front double and then he flexed down and it was like, holy fuck, like for an Arnold Classic, and he beat everyone.
It was better.
It was better, right? And then I think that Olympia, he just didn't flex down. Which one do you like better?
I mean, that's how Kamal throws his. I think it depends on the person, but like when you have those like nice defined abs, like for some people, especially for him, he needs to like make his waist look smaller. He needs to breathe it out, bring the abs in and flex it down. I think that's for him.
So you think that's for him? Flex down?
Yeah, definitely.
So why did you think he pulled away from that?
Sometimes people backstage will say, try to hit that shot differently. And that's their opinion. And it might be a person whose opinion you have to listen to, but doesn't mean it'll look better. You just have to listen to them anyways.
Right. Like coach, you think Matt was like, look, bro, I don't like that pose. Let's do this.
Yeah, someone got in his ear was like, dude, I don't know who told you to do that, but we're not doing that anymore.
Right.
And that was the right choice.
Yeah.
But like when someone who's very high level, who's backstage, it's kind of basically your boss says, try it like this. You got to try it like that.
Exactly. Gotcha.
If I had to guess, I'd say that's what happened. That's why he did it differently.
Yeah. Well, I hope we bring that back. So next thing, what do you think happened with Derek? You know more than we do, most likely. What happened with Derek's legs? What happened at the Olympia? Give us some rundown.
I think Derek came in with just too much mental stress and too heavy of a body weight, and he had too much weight. Like his body weight was really high, and I think he had to he got to a certain amount of weeks out, and he was like, "Fuck, like I'm not gonna be there unless we dig a little more aggressively." And his body in that set of circumstances, it didn't work as well as maybe it has in the past. And I think when he got that weight off, I think his legs really took a beating. I mean, you saw it. His legs weren't what they could have been. Like what we've seen him, he should have. I mean, they're never going to be the most carved in with detail, but they should be at least wide and big.
Yep.
Even from the back pose you could tell too. You put him next to everyone else, he didn't have the biggest legs from the back. And, that's been his kind of Achilles heel, I think, in his career, right? Besides his chest, I think it's been his fullness of his legs. Hani, had a great thing the first few years.
Yeah.
We were speculating. I'm thinking it could have been like water drop or maybe not enough carbs, but I couldn't see it being food, right? Do you think maybe they pulled too much water and it just came out of his legs? Or do you think he was looking like that prior to the Olympia?
He was looking like that prior to the Olympia.
So he was already in his head about it a little bit?
He was in his head.
Got you. Damn.
Yeah, if Kamal was here, I was going to ask him about the what was those meals, the muscle meals that you know,
The Flex
they
Pro
like-
meals
they
or whatever.
like to eat all the time, you know.
Yeah.
It might be attributed to that, but we don't know. We don't know because the last
do,
time
do,
that
you,
you
do you remember like, him talking about that stuff last
yeah,
time?
dog food.
Dog food.
Yeah,
Literally dog food.
If you don't make your meals yourself or have like your wife make them, if they're not like directly supervised by someone, like you may as well be eating dog food.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you need to have higher quality food and you need the preparation of it to be made with like more like care.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah, there's got to be love that goes into it a little
yeah,
bit.
not
You know
to
what
get
I mean?
into like the hippie shit, but maybe there does need to be some love in there.
You know what I'm saying? Why not? Because I mean, well, the last time that we saw you here, we were so just ready to see Derek win another one.
We were all ready for that.
We were all enthusiastic for Derek and him not going to have a problem going in there because we knew that everybody had to beat the champ.
Exactly.
He didn't even beat the champ on that day. So
Now, like one thing to add to that, like you've seen that Derek has switched coaches. Like
yeah, we're gonna ask you about that too.
Maybe that wasn't just the right fit for Derek. You know, someone can know everything there is to know, but maybe they don't mesh well with you. Maybe, like my understanding is that it was so much like strictness and so much attention to detail that it almost stressed Derek out a little bit.
Overwhelming a little
It
bit.
made him feel a little bit overwhelmed. He kind of was already, you know, got a new kid, you're opening
Yeah.
your gym, you got enough stress on your plate without someone telling you like change everything about the way that you bodybuild.
Yeah. So do you believe that if Hani did not want to retire, that he would have changed coaches anyways? Or would have potentially went that route?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Derek would have seen his performance and be like, well, that didn't work.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to try something different.
Yeah.
With or without Hani,
But, you
he
know,
would have done it differently.
Yeah.
I think the Hani, I don't know the backstory like you do, but I think the Hani transformed Derek. I don't think Derek would have won a Miss Olympia twice if it wasn't for Hani, in my opinion.
And that's the thing. Like, I mean, look how good he looked before.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to say it was Hani. I just want to say like just all the circumstances combined didn't allow him to be at his best.
So it was just stress for the most part. Stress, overworking maybe, overworking in his mind, thinking he has to do more maybe, just overstressing his body out.
Like Derek puts a lot of pressure on himself.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's really cool about Kamal is like he's so laid back. He's done it so many times. He doesn't allow things to get to him.
Yep.
And when you like put that pressure on yourself, I don't think it always makes your physique look better.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you got to look at his rise to fame. You know, like he won the 212 Olympia. He went and placed second at the Miss Olympia, one shot. What the
shot.
fuck is that? And then he won the next year. So imagine that pressure, right? Like Phil Heath coming out of like 2011, going into 2012. That first Miss Olympia title was like, do I have it? You know, like, do I have it? It's been passing around the past couple of years. Am I going to be that guy that gets it again, right? And unfortunately, it did not go his way. And I don't think that's the last we're going to see Derek. I'm still a huge Derek fan. I think he's going to reclaim. Now, going to the Mr. Olympia, current Mr. Olympia, how did you feel that Samson Dowda did in his performance at the Olympia?
I mean, he won it. I mean, he definitely beat everyone. He was the best man up there that day. I've always had the belief since I met him like 5-6 years ago that like he could be Mr. Olympia. Like he's so big, dude. He's so tall. His physique is so beautiful. His posing is so good. Maybe he doesn't have the absolute gnarliest conditioning, but his conditioning was definitely good enough, especially with Derek's being what it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that's the question. Like, well, what if someone is just as big but like more conditioned? You know, could he get bumped? I don't know.
Yeah. You know, I think I've been pretty negative against Samson since
Have you?
I started the podcast.
yes.
You know, I have because, you know,
That's me
Okay.
with jacked.
okay, who, you with who?
Jacked.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Big Jack Tater right here.
I think he's okay. I think he's okay. He's nothing special, right? When his sides are non-existent, so he'll never win the Olympia. I have $1,000
nasty
still
ab and thigh. That's
with
about
Big
it.
Sir. I'm not for letting his ass forget. He will never win the
loses
Olympia.
Every side shot.
Yeah.
So how can he win?
Yep, exactly.
He loses every side shot.
Every one of them, he'll never win. That's the thing, and it's done.
It's too much of the sport. Is like
And he's too long, very lanky. You know.
he's lanky. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back to Samson, right? Because I want to talk about this. You know, I want to. So, okay, out of the past, let's say from the 90s to now, who is the softest Mr. Olympia?
Softest Mr. Olympia.
Who had the least condition? The least condition out of all the Mr. Olympias.
I know Matt's answer.
Like seriously, think about it.
That's rough, dude. That's rough. because there were some nasty people in that. I mean, from the
I'll bring it to you.
90s,
So,
got
all right. So
fucking-
Samson, right?
That's it.
All right. So let's just
You
put
got Ronnie, you got freaking
Ronnie, Jay,
Jay,
Phil.
you
you got
Brandon Curry.
Brandon wasn't that good, but that was a bad
that's
year. That was a bad year. And I still think Brandon outconditioned Samson in that show, in my opinion.
Rami, you got
Rami still outconditioned him.
Absolutely.
For sure. Sean Roden outconditioned him.
oh yeah, Sean Curry.
I mean, Hadi Chupin, come on, bro.
you can't
Come on.
Comparison.
No fucking comparison, right? So the point I'm trying to make is that I think that he's the softest Mission Olympia that we've seen for the past 20 years.
The only people he compares
So-
to is those guys that like won one show and then
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, I mean, it's very comparable. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't think that Hadi was like off. You know, I think Hadi had enough conditioning and size, just on a conditioning standpoint alone, it should have just been slammed the door. I feel like the Mission Olympia almost set a precedent that you can come in with not the best conditioning and just have shape. Like Milos, the shape is so perfect, the shape, and win a show. So how do you feel about that? Do you feel like they're going to go towards that shape and full and the rest of that? Remember, if you're Mission Olympia and I'm chasing you and you're soft as shit, what does that say?
I think you will drive yourself like legally insane if you try to go based off what the IFBB does and say, okay, that's what they're going to do again next time. That's because they're going to change it. Oh, it's the shape era. Just kidding. Next year could be the size era.
Right.
Like, they really like to throw their curveballs at you. So does that mean that that the shape guy's always going to win? I don't think so.
Bodybuilding fan. What do you think? Bodybuilding fan. Screw the IPB, screw all them. As a bodybuilding fan, how did you like Samson's conditioning?
As a bodybuilding fan,
Miss Olympia. He's a Miss Olympia winner. He just won a Miss Olympia. Just how do you feel? Do you think it was good enough for the win?
yeah, I do.
You think so?
I think so.
Yeah. See,
Because I think the shape, I really do weigh shape really high.
yeah, that's true.
And so would I've liked to see him more conditioned? Definitely. I think that's about as well conditioned as as we've seen him. And the thing about Hadi is like he might have been not off compared to anyone else, but compared to himself the year before, he was off.
Yeah, definitely.
So they're really weird about their memory and that, like how they saw you last time, and they'll not only judge you against who you're next to, but against yourself the year before.
Yeah, I agree.
So you do have to watch out for that.
I mean, I think we're going to see a better Samson in the Arnold.
I think so too.
I think he's looking nasty.
I think so.
I think they're onto something good.
I want him to prove me wrong. You know what I'm
I
saying?
did too. But hey, speaking about like Olympia winners who only won one, and this is pure speculation. I want to hear your opinion on this.
maybe.
If Sean Roden did not go through the bullshit that he did on the next one and had to pull out, would he have been a repeat?
Yeah, 1,000%.
100%, right?
He would have been really tough to beat for anyone.
Yep.
He would have had a good run.
I think so.
I think 3 or 4.
absolutely.
I agree.
Before Rami caught him, I think he might have even beat Rami that next year. The first year.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Jesus, man, I was so sad
Oh,
about that. Dude.
God, he was
And
good.
that would have set us up for a shape era.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, absolutely. I think out of every single bodybuilder that I've ever like met in person, I was starstruck when I met Sean Roden. Like he was like the only one that I was just like, oh my fucking God, Sean, dude. Hey,
Just
flex,
perfect.
dude. Oh my God, I met him at at LA Fit Expo in like, I don't know, 2018, 2019 or something like that. Dude.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, he was walking by and I was like, oh shit. And he was like, it's just me. Okay. And I was like, I know. Just,
He was amazing.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you something. Let's just say Kai Green would have not been a little bitch. What year do you think Kai Green would have won? He stopped at 15.
the
If
year
he kept going, he would have caught Phil.
Well, I don't know. The year that Phil wouldn't compete, maybe. But then Sean Roden came. And so it was just like, I don't know.
You don't think you remember his last appearance, Kai Green, Arnold Classic, 2015. Jesus,
Pretty
bro.
nasty.
Unbeatable. I think he would have caught Phil eventually. And it would have been another Jay Cutler story for him. You know?
Yeah, I think he could have won 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And then like he's a little older, so I don't think he could have gone forever. And then I think he would have had Sean's time. But yeah, man, I think we're all a little sad that we didn't get to see Kai win at least one.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm personally really upset
We
about
were
it.
all
I
rooting
was
for
such
him.
a fan of him, man, back in the day.
Especially after, what is that, Generation Iron?
Yeah.
yeah.
He was the underdog guy. He was a monster. And that was kind of my era. And I feel like, a lot of people don't know how me and Adam even met, though. This motherfucker's over there. Bro, I never trained legs. Guys, I went to UFITs where I fit in. Me and him fit in when I was a kid. I was like 14, 15 in there. And I would look over and he'd be with your 2 friends. And he does nothing but squat. That's all this kid did was just Walk in the straight to the squat rack, and he'd be there for like 3 hours. Bro, I look over, he's squatting 4 plates for like, and you're actually the reason why I started training legs. I'm not even playing. Remember when we talked about that? Because I was, dude, I'm like, I gotta start training legs. Like I do all my chest, I do my arms, but I never train fucking legs. And then I started training legs because of you, literally because of you. And I used to call him the lumberjack. You know, I still call him lumberjack to this day, actually, because he would just wear the craziest clothes, bro, and just go in there, just lift heavy shit. So the first week I did it, I started with 1 plate, easy. 2 plates the next week, 3 plates the next week, 4 plates the next week. Bro, by the time 1 month in, I was squatting 4 plates like him. I'm like, oh, I'm going to catch his ass. And then it's just crazy to see, like, from 14 years old, 15 years old, all the way to now, that we kind of stuck together and you're in the same kind of career path that I did.
We stayed right in the same, you know, that niche out of our, just the love, the passion that was the reason why we're in the gym in the first place. Like, back then, there was no social media. Like, maybe you could catch a little YouTube of you know, your favorite bodybuilder, but, like, it wasn't anything like now. Like, people weren't in the gym because they saw some cool guy online. It was just because they loved to train.
Yep, that was it.
Yeah.
That was it. You remember Jeremy when he went in there?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, that motherfucker is a liar. Okay, and he kept me small for a long time. You know why? Because I asked him. I said, dude, I'm fucking 16. I'm like, bro, you were the like, you were the biggest guy I've ever seen in my fucking life. What are you taking, bro? And he's like, bro, I'm all natural, bro. I'm all natural. That little motherfucker. That was a hormone era, right?
So definitely on some fucking super draw or whatever
dude,
the fuck they had.
He was on like Trimethyl-X. You remember that Trimethyl-X back in the day?
Was that like
It
testosterone?
It was test, tren, and EQ all in one pill.
That's nasty.
All in one pill. It was phenomenal, actually.
liver.
Dude, I'm not lying. My friend ended up in the hospital after 3 weeks taking it. I took it for 1 cycle. Yeah. Bro, I was massive. Like, it blew me up. And I was like 22 at that point. But I finally found out what he was taking. And he lied to me. So I'm going to have a talk with him.
Yeah, but that was back in the heart of the true fake natty era. Like, you just couldn't talk about it back then as openly.
Yep. And he lied to me. I knew he was on shit. I caught him. And now he's pro, which is pretty
duck
cool.
eggs, bro. That's all he's eating.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. But how did you have the motivation, man? Like, let's get back to it, because a lot of people don't have the motivation to train hard, and they wonder why the fuck they don't grow. And last time we were on the podcast, you were like, it's a training. We're going to double down on that today, right? How important is training to grow muscle?
It's the most important thing.
Not the food or the drugs?
I could take all the drugs and eat a lot and not train. I'm just going to look like, it's going to become fat.
Yeah, you're going to be
But, like, you know, you've probably seen people that, like, were natural, didn't really eat in a big surplus, so they at least got, like, you know, nice little natty physique going, right? So, like, as long as you're giving yourself the stimulus of the calories and you're allowing yourself to be anabolic enough to push past your plateau with the other stuff, like, everything else is going to be the training, man. And training is kind of like, it's the simplest and the easiest, but it's also the hardest, because most people just don't do enough. They question, like, how much can I handle? I see these guys, this guy's doing once a week, this guy's doing twice a week, this guy's doing, everyone's got such a different split and a different approach to training, and high volume, low volume, heavy weights. It's going to be different for everybody, but, like, when you figure out that perfect recipe for your genetics, and then you just fucking put the gas pedal down all the way, you just run it, that's when you're going to have your best training. You do have to give yourself an experimental phase to, like, I think this is why it's good to train with different people.
Yes.
Try different ways. You're like, oh, that guy's trains completely different from that guy. Maybe it doesn't have to be either way, but, you know, you are going to have to figure out your recipe.
Yeah, most definitely.
So why are people just a bunch of pussies, bro? Like, when they train, like, that's really what I want to hyper focus on, is the mindset, because I feel like when we're in the gym, right? Us three, I'm sure Kamal goes through this, right? You're done, bro. You ain't got another fucking rep in you. Like, I'm fucking done, bro. I cannot move my legs, but I'm able to get 20 fucking more because of this, because of my fucking mind. Yeah. Why can't people unlock that? Because I train these bikini competitors, these wellness competitors, these men, fucking grown ass fucking men. Yeah. And, bro, they get to rep 10. Oh, it hurts. And they rack it. But that's their failure. Guys, you need to push past that. So let's talk a little bit about mindset.
So, I mean, I think we just uncovered what it's all about in terms of the lack of mindset. We came at it from a different direction. We loved to train. Yep. We loved the suffering. We loved every time that we failed, it meant we were getting better. We didn't have the motivation that came like, oh, I want to look like this, and now I'm going to figure out what do I have to do in order to get that physique. So they're coming in it from a different direction. Yep. We just never questioned like, oh, should I do 4? If you can do 4, do fucking 4 plates.
Yeah.
Get under there and do it. When you're driven by this like analytical thing of like, oh, I want to optimize it, so I'm not going to do too much or too little. I'm just going to do everything just perfect. That's probably not going to work that well.
Yeah.
You have to have this mindset of like everything that it takes, whatever I have to do, I'm going to do. And I mean, the pain tolerance thing is confusing to me because people will just stop their sets.
Yeah.
I'm like
Like they clearly got it.
Is it joint pain or is it muscular? And they're like, oh, it's just muscular. But fucking keep going.
Like this is the thing.
Keep going.
Pussies.
I'm thinking of a very specific athlete that I train all the time, and he will fail on bench press, and I'll put my hand close to the bar.
Yeah, you're not even picking it up. And then
And
he's like,
he will be like from like this stuck to immediately finishing the rep. I'm like, dude, I didn't touch the bar. You're busted. And that's so many people. It's just like
Yep.
they just quit. I don't know what programmed them from their childhood to
human
just,
nature.
It's just their nature, and we have a little bit of a different nature.
Absolutely.
I don't know how much you can teach that.
Yeah.
It's not teachable.
You can continue to reinforce them to
Yes.
be like, I need you to be willing to grind a little bit more. And like even that guy in question, like he grinds way more than he used to, but I can't change his human nature.
Yeah. That's true.
Because the human nature is we're always going to take the path of least resistance.
So maybe for those people, you're like, all right, well, I'm going to have to add intensifiers
Exactly,
that I
you have
wouldn't
to.
add for other people. So if you
100%.
can
Yeah.
just take your straight set to failure, you're not going to need a lot of drop sets. And
Exactly.
You won't. But that's just what happens. You know, it is human nature to take the path of least resistance. And then it is our job as people who have came from that other side of things to actually love the pain.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to embrace the
You
darkness.
gotta meet
Right?
them
Truly,
you gotta
truly.
meet them where they're at. Right?
Exactly. And that's the thing. As a good trainer, as good coaches, you have to meet the athlete at their level. And then from there, show them how they can push past their thresholds.
So part of that's like
Very simple.
teaching them that they will be okay.
Yep.
When they think that they're dying, when they think the world is coming to an end, the reality is like you got 5 more reps.
Yep.
But you have to be there in the gym with them. You can't do that.
Yes.
You can't do that remotely.
No, you cannot. No,
you know,
cannot.
if you're just every week you're like getting a check-in and you're like, you had more. Next time, don't do that. Don't quit. Like, no, you got to be there with them.
Yeah.
If you really want to get them.
But we can't be there with them, you know? And I think that a lot of my athletes, I mean, I'm talking, you split it 50-50, bro. I coach a lot of people. 50% aren't training hard. I'm not lying. It doesn't matter what I tell them, what I do. It's in their nature. So I want
more
to,
than that.
probably more than that. Probably 85%.
You know what I'm
right?
saying?
I gotta say, I gotta give a
Very few
big
people
shout
that
out to Brianna, bro. Like she is an absolute monster. to
there are
train.
people on the other
She's
other
insane.
side of the coin.
Yeah.
Where like you have to back them down a little bit.
Yes, 100%.
I would
That's
much
Brianna.
rather have to fucking pull your leash back and hold you back than fucking let's go. Come
Yeah.
on. But at the same time, you know, that's why we're here. That's why they
Yeah.
hire us. That's why
Yeah.
we get paid decent, some good money so that we can.
Yeah.
And it's our passion. We love this shit. It is our duty to be able to put forth our passion upon these other people who might not have the drive like we do, so that they can potentially come up from the darkness. You know what I'm saying? And just,
Yeah, pretty much. But
Learn a little
it's just we can't be there forever.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
you're absolutely
So
right.
we have a lot of athletes that do listen to this podcast, you know, and what's some advice you can give them to really unleash that? Like, besides not being a little bitch.
It's number one.
Find a training partner
That's it. Yeah.
It's a great idea, actually.
and program for yourself like things that are going to be really hard that will test you. If you're too afraid, like if I know every Monday that I'm going to have to do like the drop set from hell on leg press, like I might get a little freaked out. It might actually make me hate legs. But if you give them just enough that they like develop a routine of like, okay, I'm going to do this hard thing, but I'm going to be okay. And you continuously give them that one hard set and you record it as a benchmark, like have them keep pushing further and further into failure. I think you can kind of program them a little bit to at least like increase their threshold for it.
Absolutely.
So like for me, I'm big on drop sets are hard. And like forced reps and stuff. I think what's good for a lot of people is like cluster sets and incomplete rest.
Yes.
So
yes,
if I have a 10 rep max, I might want you to do 5 sets of 5 with that weight, with the shortest rest periods possible.
Yep.
So
So
it's
it's like
15, 20 seconds at most.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like 20 seconds maximum, maybe 10. Right. And that's a way they can be like, they can start with a weight and be like, okay, I can do this. And mentally it forces them to be like, okay, I only have to do 5.
That's it.
Versus like, how many more is he going to make me? Okay, I only have to do this 5. And that I think really helps people kind of build their balls a little bit
Yeah, for sure. I
in a
mean,
way that doesn't scare them.
it's pretty much like what I've done with Jay. And
He did say something today. He's fucked up.
What do
He's
you
fucked up today. His legs are fucked up.
Absolutely, he should be fucked.
Yeah.
up. I fucking tore his ass up.
Yeah, Jay pushes hard. That's what Dustin says.
Yeah, he does. But initially, when I had him in there and I got him doing the leg press, we had about 3 plates on there, and he was like, "Dude, I never really go past this." I was like, "Dude, you don't go past fucking 3
3
plates?"
plates?
Dude, tossed another one on there. He's like, "Oh my god, I don't think I could do this."
Another one.
Tossed another one on there. We had 5 on there, right? And he's like, "Dude, I think he got like 6 or 7 at that point." But the moment that I tossed the 5th plate on, I was like, hey, look at that. Now you got about as much weight as Danny's got.
No, literally. Yeah, exactly. Now you're with the girls.
Yeah.
I mean, Brianna and Natalia, but they're like 8 plates right now on each side.
And so I had Danny at like 6.5.
Yeah.
6.5. She's
Unbelievable.
fucking, she's a killer. And then, but again, that allowed Jay to kind of see what he can do and understand that he is just working with pain. It's just pain. It's just pain. And so now I had him at 8 plates doing 15.
Yeah, and it's easy.
And now he's like, no, I get it now. I get it. Thank you for pushing me so hard. But, we've got a bunch of questions in, and I think one of the questions apply here, and I wanted to ask it to you. So what qualities do the most successful competitors that you work with have in common?
Successful athletes?
The most successful.
They're a little autistic.
Yeah.
They have the ability to be like, okay, this is a plan. I'm just going to do it.
Yep.
I don't need to think about it. I just have to execute. The people that are the most focused on executing and not in like questioning whether or not they are doing things okay. They're just like, okay, I'm just going to do this. If anything, I want to do more of that. They have simpler mindsets. I think those are the people that do really well. And the people that like complicate everything for themselves. And unfortunately, I think the people that have like a high anxiety personalities, I think they do really poorly. I think they drive themselves crazy.
I think so too.
And then I think that another question is like, well, how do you do in the off season, right? A really good competitor is really good in the off season.
Yep.
So if you let everything go, because like the mental stress was too much for you of prep, and you have to let go of some of that stress by binge eating and skipping cardio, then yeah, you're not going to be as good of a competitor unless you're Kevin Levrone, and you can do that like for everybody else.
Yeah.
For everybody else, that's going to fuck you up, and you're just never going to be as good. So that kind of goes back to the same thing, which is like the people that can be really routine and kind of, I always say being boring is one of the best attributes in bodybuilding.
100%,
Yeah.
You can be a boring person and you'll probably be a good bodybuilder.
Yeah. Because all you just eat, train, sleep, tan,
Yeah.
laundry, back to the gym.
And like,
we're good.
And like side
Yes.
note, that may not be that good for the rest of your life and your relationships and in your career, but like it will make you a better bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I agree with that.
I mean, unless you find somebody who has that same kind of, mindset, but of the opposite sex,
Then you're
and
really good.
then, or you can go the other way.
Yeah, exactly.
It's free country.
It is
Yeah.
a free country.
So, it's tough because I don't think that we could ever see another Kevin Levrone for a few different reasons, right? And I'm talking about like that doesn't take the offseason seriously and could just come out of the blue and fucking transform and be great, right? Because for one, there's too many prep hacks now. There's too many people doing shit off plan. I think they've ingrained that in their mind that like they don't have to be good in the off season and they could just do it. And a lot of people do that, but there's too many competitors now.
Yeah.
There's not just a niche of 100 competitors in the whole fucking United States that are competing, right?
That's how it was.
Now we have thousands of competitors, man. And thousands of coaches now, right? There's too many competitors. So how do we beat these people going to nationals, right? How do we beat these people going to pro? How does Kamal beat them, right? How has Kamal been whooping all their ass for all these years? Tell me how.
He's exactly like I just talked about. He eats exactly the same. He eats maybe a couple cheat meals a year. A year.
Yeah.
But then he spits those out though, right?
He didn't compete last year, and he stayed on his diet plan all year.
Yeah, that's nasty, bro.
Right?
And that's a different animal. Not everyone could do that. You know, not everyone could do that. And I feel
Most
like,
people can't do that, and I get it, but like that is what will work.
Yeah.
Is if you are just so locked in that, and like I asked him about it. I'm like, is this because you're like really thinking about how you want to stay lean, and how you want to train? He's like, not thinking about that at all. This is what I do. I'm a bodybuilder. Of course, I eat chicken and rice 6 times a day. He's like, also, this is good for me, and this is what I want to do.
He's methodical.
So people have this thing of like what I want versus what's good for me. But if you just want the things that are good for you, it gets a lot easier. But when you're like, you have these desires for things to be easier, and it's just, dude, Kamal just wants to win. He's not desiring anything to be easy. He just wants another fucking Olympia trophy.
exactly.
He's not thinking about how hard it is. He's never thinking about how hard it is or how it could be easier. It doesn't cross his mind.
And I think that's what it is. People try to find the easy way out, you know? And I think that I was having a talk with a client today, and he was sending me some stuff saying that like there's only one pro card in bodybuilding, whatever, like in universe, right? Me and Jordan were talking. And I think that a lot of people, you know, they chase the pro card and they don't chase the physique, right? And I think that's why the people in the 90s, the 2000s, and everything were doing better, because they didn't give a fuck how many pro cards they gave out. They're working on themselves. They're internalizing. They're getting the best workouts possible. They're doing everything to fucking win. And if I'm not good enough, it's fine. I'll go to the next fucking show. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to be my best. And I think that's why people mess up.
They didn't have this idea of like winning. It was all about earning it. It was like, well, when I look good enough, it will just happen.
Exactly.
So if I'm not there yet, there's obviously things I need to do.
Yeah. And if they go, I mean, dude, back in the day, it must have been so competitive. I mean, you're talking like, dude, only 3 pro cards a year or something crazy like that they were giving out? Unfucking believable, right? Because when you're a pro, you're a fucking pro. Like that means something, right? Because there was only so many pro cards. So you would have a lineup of 12, 14 people deep. Like, you know, this is, you know, I hate saying it, man, but like Sebastian, Jordan, Natalia, Brianna, like if you one shot a pro card, you're pretty fucking lucky. Like we one shot your pro card. We were pretty lucky. Not like we were bust our fucking ass, but like you have to chase the
That just
physique.
didn't happen back in the day.
It just did not happen back in the day. And now people are like, oh, if I don't get the pro card, I'm done bodybuilding. Like, dude, people would train for 10 fucking years before they even get on stage. And like they're bringing that physique to stage that's worthy of a fucking pro card. Stop chasing the fucking pro card. Chase the goddamn physique. And that's why I love Tommy so much. And he's the one who actually told me that.
physique, yes.
Chase the fucking physique, man. Like, fuck the pro card. The pro card will come when you're ready.
That was the difference.
You
That
know?
was a big difference. And like there was just, you know, there was no social media, right? So like the only person you were looking at were like the guys in the magazines who were the best in the world. You're like, okay, that's what I got to look like.
Yep. Not stepping on stage yet.
There's no question that the amount of pro cards has really like diluted the sport. And I don't just mean from the sense of like, oh, when we have a bunch of pros who aren't as good as the old pros, but you just have a bunch of people with like weaker mentalities. They're like, well, I only have to do this.
Exactly.
I only have to do this much because did you see the guy that won last year? He wasn't even that good. So I don't have to be that good either. What a weak ass mentality to have.
Exactly. It's embarrassing, actually.
It is a little embarrassing.
You know, and don't compare yourself to anyone else. Like, just keep grinding bodybuilding. Like, if you want to be a bodybuilder and you seriously want to be a professional, you got to be on fucking plan year round. Like, you got to be on plan, bro. Tommy is Kevin, bro. Statements, bro. Like, them guys know what the fuck it is. They're two open bodybuilders. They know they have to be on plan all year round. Like, dude, you think Elliot, homeboy, big ass Elliot, you think he'd be that big if he wasn't on plan 24/7? Like,
You can't be.
dude, there's no way you'd be that fucking big, you know. And I gotta say, like, you gotta call Natalia out here. You know, I got on her ass today, bro. I got on her fucking ass today,
What'd she do now?
bro. She's
Was she
killing
shaving
me.
her head again?
I wish she had more hair to cut the fuck off. Yes. So she's 20 weeks out. Long shot. I don't go too much into detail, but she was doing stuff off plan, right? And I'm like, Natalia, you're talking about being an Olympia someday. You're talking about being in the Masters Olympia someday. And I like doing this because she's going to see this back and be like, Matt's right. We had a huge talk about it. She's very motivated. You want to do all these things, but you're doing the work that's here. And you want this goal, but your work ethic is here. What the fuck are we doing? We need to get you here now. Like, right fucking now, today. So I'm having to take a picture of every single one of her meals, saying it over. She's doing some Fit My Macros bullshit. It's not fucking happening on this fucking team, bro. I literally said, I will fucking stop coaching you. I'm not playing. Like, I'm so mad because, bro, you're talking about a gifted athlete. Somebody who is given God's gift, right? Like Sebastian, given a body that I wish I could fucking have, like to turn pro, right? You're ready to go. You're doing me a disservice. You're doing yourself a disservice. Like, you got to get your shit together. And I had a big talk with her. And now her motivation's like through the fucking roof.
good, man.
You know what I'm saying? Because like, she's like ready to go. And I love her. She knows. We had a big talk about it. Brianna was there too. And, you know, I think that people need to understand that in this sport, there are people willing to do that. And it's our job as coaches to talk about it and bring that shit the fuck out of you, because
Right.
don't do the fucking bare minimum. You're talking about these big goals.
Yep.
You got to have that to match.
What I think happens to a lot of people, especially someone like that, when you have good genetics, really good, and also everyone else is half-assing it, right? And so that's what you're competing against.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you go against them and you half-assed it or whatever. I'm not talking about this exact
I know
circumstance,
exactly
Yeah.
but like
yes.
if you're able to win or do well and you know you didn't give it your all, you're like, well, why should I?
Exactly.
It's got me this far.
It got me this far. It's already working.
Yeah. You're starting a
pro card.
precedent for yourself.
You're setting a precedent of kind of like what I think is like really bad for people is feeling sorry for yourself, in essence, cutting yourself a little bit of slack too much of the time. Like you don't have to be like driving yourself crazy, but you know, if there's things you got to do and then you don't do them, you shouldn't be okay with that. You should be like, oh, that was wrong, and I need to figure out a way to never do that again.
Exactly.
And not find more ways to kind of like make it work when you can.
Yeah. And
People
let me
want
add,
that flexibility, but
It's
it's
just,
not right.
it's rough because like it leads me to this one thing. So it's like you can't necessarily plan for your future. You can aim for it. You can plan your actions,
That's it.
and then the actions are going to dictate whether or not you reach the point that you're aiming for.
Yeah.
And so if in fact you are half-assing your shit, but you have these goals that are freaking up here, you're going to miss.
Yeah.
You made a left turn when you should have made a right or stayed straight. It's just not, it's not going to work out well for you. So yeah, again, it's like, again, you cannot plan for your future. You can only aim for it.
Yeah.
So you can plan your actions to fucking bust your ass and do the right shit.
well, you know, and I do got to give her a lot of applause, because the stuff that I'm nitpicking her on is minute, right? It is minute. It's not like she's doing crazy off plan, right? But it's just things that she knows better. And this is the problem, right? If you do stuff that's off plan, and now you had a client, right? You're 20 weeks out from a show. Now you're 16 weeks out. Now you're 12 weeks out. And they weren't doing half of the fucking plan right. And you're trying to make changes, but now she's finally getting on plan because it's 12 weeks out. Okay, I'm gonna get on plan now. And now you're making these changes. Do you know that client's body or no?
No,
How are you supposed to help her?
there's no way. I'm just guessing at that point.
You're just guessing because she's not being communicative with you, right? Like, hey, instead of doing, let's say instead of doing chicken, right? I'm doing ground beef with every single one of these meals. And now now how are you supposed to even know what to do at that point? So now you're like, okay, well, you're only doing, in my plan, you're doing 2 chicken meals, 3 fish meals, but really you're doing all ground beef.
Dude, that drives me crazy.
Now, how the fuck am I supposed to, bro, you're talking an extra 500 calories right there. Like maybe more, and then that's just the little shit, right?
And your body's
Could be more.
changing. I don't really know why.
Exactly. So how do you do it?
I mean, you really can't. And it's if they're doing these small little things as well, and they're not able to uphold the habits in which they're supposed to have, well, then they're going to fall off on some other things. But then that kind of brings me to another point. On the opposite side of the spectrum, let's just say, okay, for instance, you had a client that did everything on plan, everything, and they're communicative, they're letting you know everything that they're doing, and they hit a plateau. How are you changing that? How are you fixing that?
Easy.
Like in their fat loss, they hit a plateau.
They're just, I don't know. Let's just say you started 25 weeks out, got a nice good push. You started their cut at around 16, 12 weeks to around 8 weeks at this point. They reached a plateau. They're just not going anywhere. What are you going to do? But they are 100% on Kamal on plan.
That's actually tough. One thing's for sure, like if I don't think they're going to be ready, I'm not going to tell them to do the show.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, we're going to pick another show. We're going to figure out why this is happening. Might get some blood work done. Might try to figure out what's going on with your metabolism and your hormones. I might figure out if I've just like dug a hole too deep and you're just like buried and you need to have some like deload and like a little bit of calories and a refeed. Maybe that's all you need. But it's so contextual.
It is.
That's
It really
that's
is.
really a tough one to give like a single answer to.
Yeah.
What do you think, Matt?
I think that you're going to have a lot better of a guess if they're on plan, and if they're off plan, there's nothing you could do. You're unstable. Cause like I said, you're throwing darts at dartboard. You don't know where the fuck the dartboard's at. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how hard it is, truly.
So we have this new thing where everyone thinks they're a coach. Everyone thinks they're an expert. Everyone thinks they know everything.
Yep.
So I don't think you ever used to have this phenomenon of people being like, I'm going to hire you to tell me what to do, but then I'm not going to listen to you. Because you told me to eat beef, but I actually know that I respond better to fish. So I'm going to switch it to fish, but I won't tell you.
Yep.
It's like, dude, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Where the fuck did that come from? Like, don't hire them if you don't think you can tell them that.
Yeah.
And like, don't hire them at all if you just want to prep yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, just prep yourself.
we never had this thing where people back in the day would just hire coaches, and then the only thing I've ever heard of is like taking less gear than your coach told you to take back in the day.
Yeah.
That was about it.
Yeah. But you're not going to spend your hard-earned money, bro, to like hire someone. And probably I didn't even pay this motherfucker. And I listen to him every fucking gram all the way to the show, bro. I didn't even pay him. These people are paying fucking money, bro.
And they're paying money.
They're paying hard-earned fucking money for this to not listen to you.
It's insane.
It doesn't make sense.
Because either they thought they knew better, or because they mentally just weren't willing to.
A lot of it comes down to just pure embarrassment. They're embarrassed to tell you that they're not willing to do it, and they're just not willing to suffer like the person needs to suffer, right? And that's the hardest, bro. It is tough. You're talking about, I may have trust about maybe 5 clients in my entire life, like my entire history of coaching, maybe 5. I've coached a lot of fucking people that I know for a fact that they have not gone a gram over or under. 5 people.
So you nailed
tough.
it. Like, people, at the end of the day, they feel bad about the fact that they don't have what it takes. And the reality is, you could tell me the number that you think, but I think over 90% of people that bodybuild and even do a couple shows, they don't really have what it takes, right?
Yeah.
Agreed.
This is a really hard fucking sport. It's so hard. It takes more from you mentally than most things you'll ever try to do. Like, one diet is fine, but like when you're talking about multiple competitions and multiple off seasons that you're trying to stay locked in for, dude, you probably just, that's probably just too much for people.
Yeah.
So you need to be realistic with yourself and your goals. Like,
Yeah.
Again, this is where people have crazy goals, and you should just be trying to be the best person you can be, the best athlete you can be. Try to max out your physique rather than be like, I need this pro card, but then I feel so bad because I can't get it. I'm just going to pay someone even more money, and then they're going to get me there, but I actually don't know if I can actually follow their plan. It just creates this weird thing where you're like, you feel guilty, but then you continue to do things that make you feel worse.
Is it because of the cell phone era, do you think?
I was just
and
about to bring
just
that up.
and just the whole
100%.
social media. Just I have so much information out there that, like you said initially, everybody's a fucking expert. Everybody's sort of a coach in itself, and
But
so
also, everyone's a pro. Everyone looks perfect. Everyone's got this great physique and this huge following. And so no one wants these like simple little goals. No one has goals that don't extend beyond themselves. They want all this recognition and these
the
accolades
pats on the back and shit.
and that's a really dangerous motivation to have, because it's actually not going to get you very far.
No.
You know,
Agreed.
when you're sitting at like midnight and you haven't had any carbs and you can't sleep, like the accolades aren't going to keep you from opening up the freezer and reaching for the ice cream.
Open
Exactly.
up the cabinet.
Exactly.
Shit.
And I do think that social media has played the biggest effect on the downhill of bodybuilding, honestly, in my opinion, right? Because there's always prep hacks, there's always, instead of doing egg whites, you could do these egg white wraps. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing rice cakes, or instead of doing rice, you could do rice cakes. I did it. Just don't tell your coach, whatever. And that's the shit that pisses me the fuck off. And when I get like a seasoned competitor, right, and I bring them on to my team, and they've already made that precedent for themselves, and they've already done that shit in the past. Do you know how hard it is to get them on plan now? Do you know how hard it is for them to stop putting, Splenda on their oatmeal and just shit like that, shit that they've been doing? It's almost impossible in my opinion, right? Yeah. And I gotta say, the people who have done it correctly and done it 100%, they destroy everybody, bro.
They do.
You will fucking destroy everybody if you are on plan, because all of them are on Fit My Macros bullshit. They're all on fucking muffin pumps and all this cheat and hacks and all this shit. And I'm so fucking passionate about this, guys, because I want to win.
Yeah.
Like, I want every athlete of mine to just absolutely fucking dominate.
And that's what's cool about bodybuilding is like, you don't have to fucking outsmart people or hack your way into winning. You actually just have to be more disciplined and be more boring and eat the stupid food and don't add all this extra stuff. And the way to win is so simple.
So simple.
It's so simple. You can win just off grit and willpower and time, but people don't want to do that.
They don't. So let's go back to let's say 2000s, early 2000s. Do you think that, I don't want to say they know more about it, but you think that the dieting process was better then than it is now in the broad spectrum of competing?
Old school approach.
All right.
Yes.
I'm gonna say something that's gonna upset some people.
Hit it.
All right.
You like that shit.
Do we think people are bigger or better than they were 20 years ago, or more shredded?
Of course not. Of
Like at the highest level?
course not.
I don't think so.
Okay. Then it stands to reason that we don't know anything useful that came out in the last 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's more recent than the 90s, it didn't make us any better.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we've added to our body of knowledge, it's not actually going to make you a better bodybuilder. So none of this, so it might make it so that you have more options, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you don't like certain things, and maybe you digest chicken well or whatever. Or like maybe we can find healthier ways of doing things, and maybe we can create more flexible ways that you can stay on your plan, without cheating. But you won't look better from any of the new stuff. Like that's what we have to really accept, is nothing that we've done and changed in training and dieting and gear in the last 20 years made anyone better. So if you're changing anything, it shouldn't be because you think it's going to make you better.
Mm-hmm.
Change it because maybe you think it will make your approach more sustainable, that you can be sane with that approach so that you can do it for a longer period of time, or that it's maybe better for your digestion, or like maybe that just because, really heavy incline barbell bench, you're not going to have a better chest exercise, but maybe you could have a safer chest exercise. Okay, there are arguments to be made for doing things differently for safety reasons, for longevity reasons.
Yes.
But you can't fool yourself into thinking it's going to make you a bigger, better bodybuilder. It never will make you.
Never will. Never will.
Hard stuff will always make you better.
Exactly. And I've adapted this old school approach 100,000%, man. That's all I will do. I will not do anything else. And I think that's the reason why I've seen so much success. And I think that's the reason why you put Elise on stage and slaughtered everyone, because you gave her the old school approach, right?
Old school, man.
Chicken, bro, spinach, whitefish. Fucking bro, did you see Kai Green's overkill video of him? Yeah. He was there for 7 weeks. Bro, cod and fucking spinach, bro.
That's it, bro.
Flounder and spinach. It's not fucking rocket science.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I do think the problem with it though is there's so many divisions. And I think that for bikini, you got to be careful on how far you push that conditioning. And maybe that's where these coaches are thinking, oh wow, I could do this, and that, because there's so many different divisions now,
Yeah.
I think all the men's divisions need to be peeled, right? But there are women's divisions like wellness. You cannot be peeled for wellness. Like you just can't. You have to have a fuller look, right? So you have to adapt your approach to that. But to my, to pretty much all my athletes, we go old school as fuck. Like, and if you cannot handle it, then that is on you. And maybe I'm just not the coach for you. And maybe you need to go find a second place coach, because I'm giving you the fucking plan to win. Yeah. And again, somebody who is that fucking good, bro. Somebody who is that good, like a Sebastian, like a Natalia, like a fucking Jen. These girls can even do 90% of my plan and still win, because I'm doing that old school approach. Right. But now imagine that 100%, bro.
Imagine if you put in that last.
Oh my 10%. God. You're talking about next level. Right. People who can actually have the genetics to go to the Olympia. Sebastian, Olympian genetics. Like, he's that good where I'm just like, Jesus.
You don't get to the Olympia 100%.
No, you get it there 100%. And even at the 110, bro. I mean, we give 100% more. We can't even break first scallops. You know what I'm saying? Which we will this year. But, it's fucking tough, man. It is not easy. And I didn't want this whole podcast to be about cheating and like all that shit. But I think that's the reason why people lose. It's way less about the posing, way less about everything else. It's the training hard, and it's the fucking diet. It's 100%.
I mean, dude, go to an NPC show, as I'm sure you've done before in your lifetime.
A couple.
And tell me how many, because we're talking about guys need more conditioning. How many guys do you see that are like peeled?
No, I mean, not many, dude.
Maybe
like
you're
gonna see the onesie twosies backstage, and then, I mean, even. We go to Mel's show, and we have so many people. I go to these gyms, and I talk to all my buddies.
I'm not talking about lean enough. I mean peeled.
Peeled. Yes, I know exactly. Like there's
a few, and you can see him, and you're like, oh, that guy did something different.
Absolutely.
And then there's everyone else.
100%. And I feel bad because
so what is everyone else doing?
I don't know. They're either
macros, bro.
Splenda and macros and
they're doing BCAAs all day long,
sugar free,
circulose all day fucking long. They're putting creamer in the coffee. It's 0 calorie though. You know what I'm saying? Sugar in their coffee. They're putting cream in their coffee. They're going to Starbucks and getting all this fucking. Oh, it's just a peanut butter coffee.
I know. Oh, I had to get my Starbucks, but it's It's iced. It doesn't have it's only got Splenda and oat milk in it. Like, dude,
I don't give a
get over your fucking weird little addictions to your dopamine thing. Like, you don't need that.
Yeah.
You don't-
Well, do you want to
Dopamine
win?
should come into the gym,
like
and
when,
fucking
when
crushing your shit.
When I see that shit, like I'm looking at you like I look at the person that spends half their paycheck on scratch off tickets. To 7-Eleven.
yeah.
You like have this like little compulsion. I gotta have my little sugar-free syrup. Like, dude, you're an addict.
Yes, it's true.
Calm down.
For sure.
But I gotta say though, when you cut that shit out,
Yeah.
you don't really want it after a week. People don't fucking get it. They don't understand, bro. Like we pretty much had no refeeds for about 8 weeks. I don't quote me on this, but about 8 weeks, right? But I remember when we did that refeed, I was like, fuck. Like for 4 days, I was like, dude, I am tripping. Like, cause then you start craving it, right? But the second I just cut it out, like, you don't give a fuck anymore. Give me a week, bro, and I don't even care. Like gum, I don't need fucking gum.
Got to get out of your system.
Gotta get it out of your system.
I remember, okay, I mean, it wasn't like cheating or anything like that, but I remember when this dude upped my carbs after the St. Louis show, like he upped my carbs to like 100 and, no, it was like 100 grams of rice for like meal 2, maybe meal 3. And I was like, after that, dude, I was so
I remember
hungry,
that, yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
When we start upping food and you were getting hungrier I was up on the food.
so fucking hungry. I was like,
Yeah.
dear Lord, I wasn't hungry at all, eating just fish and freaking.
Yeah.
It's human nature. Like the more you give yourself of that shit, the more you want.
Yep. And you can tell me if I'm wrong, right? Every time I do peak with somebody, when we start pulling that water and we start upping the food, they get hungrier. Like they get hungrier because you don't have the water to fill your stomach,
Right.
and you're eating the food that you wanted, and now you want more of, but you can only have like 150 grams of it, and you just start fucking snapping. Like I was so hungry in peak week, I was like starving, and I was eating 250 grams fucking per meal, and I was still starving.
Because all of a sudden, like you were fine, but now you eat and you go hypo immediately.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I was on.
Real quick.
I did 2 packets of grits, which is I do grits. I don't do oatmeal. I cannot do it. It's disgusting. I hate doing it. So 2 packets of grits comes out to 44 grams of carbs. Right? I would do that, and I would do 150 grams of rice for my meal too. And I did that for 8 weeks straight. Literally 8 weeks straight. I'm not lying. Ronnie Coleman too. 8 weeks straight. I did that same thing. I didn't give a fuck about food. I was like, this is good. I'm good. But the second we start adding food, bro, I was like fucking tripping.
Spiral.
And then imagine you're doing your whole prep on gum and sweetener. Like, dude, you're out of your mind with cravings the whole time.
Yes, 100%. You're just craving that gum. You're like, I want the gum. Oh wait, but I'll just do this. Let me get where's Crystal Light? Where's the Crystal Light at? And then they go grab the Crystal Light, and then it's just, oh
Then
god.
you're doing the gallon of Crystal Light and aminos all day, every day.
all
Yep.
day, dude.
And people don't understand.
Saturating your body with that shit.
BCAs, flavored BCAs, have artificial sweetener in there.
Yes.
You
they do.
cannot drink this shit all day fucking long when you want. Okay, you're gonna hold on to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 pounds of fucking water. Like, I know we talked about this. What's your approach on that, real quick?
BCAs have calories in them too, by the way, guys. It's not zero
Yep.
zero everything. It's like, yeah, I think that people really have to watch out for this. Like, I totally agree with you about the sweeteners. It just makes you so bloated. It wrecks your ability to stay tight because you're inflamed through your whole body. And I think that anything that's like driving inflammation up reduces how hard you can train. And that's kind of like a little thing where if like you're really on your diet and you're not putting all that bullshit in there, I think you train a little bit harder too.
I agree.
Your recovery's better.
Yep. Do you feel like the blood just moves to the muscle better?
Yeah,
Everything's just smoother.
Your system's just a little more cleaned out.
Yep. I agree. And I feel like the more conditioned you get, the better workouts you get.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
And like, that's when you really start to see that stuff.
Yeah.
That's when you're getting really conditioned.
Yeah, I tell everyone when I'm like 5 weeks out, 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out, and I start getting truly conditioned. We're talking about like next level, like veins everywhere, right? Bro, let's say I do back workout. I can't even feel my back in the off season. Most people can because you gain a lot of fat back there. Dude, every fiber, I'm like, I can feel every single fiber moving when I'm in prep, like 3 weeks out, because I'm so fucking lean.
Yeah.
You know?
Lean, you get to see it. You know what I mean? You're like, oh my fucking God, is that me for real? You know? Hitting every freaking rep to the T. And
Now, if you're lean and you're not feeling anything, like this is probably a sign something is wrong.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't think this is something people don't understand too. People are like, oh, I don't have much fat here. People have to understand too, when you eat like a ribeye, right? There's fat in between your muscle. And I think that's why like Kamal, Hadi, they get those like deep like feathers. Like you can't get, so you might be conditioned and you might have like all the body fat gone, but there's also body fat in the muscle. And that's why you see those really grainy look, right? Hani hits his fucking chest and it's like, because he has literally no more fat in his fucking muscle. That's why Ronnie Coleman, he's like, yeah, I was 3% body fat, or what do you say, like 1% body fat or something?
0.3.
Which I don't think I believe on that, but dude, He was so peeled where you could see I could have laid fucking grains of rice in his glutes. Like that's how shredded his glutes were.
His glutes were unreal.
And you only get that way with not doing all of that fucking bullshit. Like that's going to prevent that.
This is like a brief sidebar for your female athletes, right? Because a lot of them are probably younger. They probably don't go back into the history of Ronnie Coleman like we do. Go back and look at some back shots from Ronnie Coleman where he's doing back double back, but look at his glutes.
Yeah.
They were huge. He had huge glutes, and they were peeled, but they were so big. But this is why I bring it up. How many glute kickbacks do you think Ronnie Coleman did in his lifetime?
0.
He did squat, he did deadlift, he did leg press, he did lunges, and maybe abductor machine.
Yep.
Okay, and that's it. And he had some of the biggest glutes of all time. So wellness athletes, just think about that.
Yeah. And that's something we'll talk when we get Elise on, which we will get you back on with her 100%. We're going to break down how you really turned her into a monster, because I think that's what she's on her way of being. Now, real quick, what is your goal with her? What are your guys' goals for the future? Like, what, you competing this year? You're not competing this year?
I want to compete her this year.
Yeah, get her on stage.
Yeah.
Now, she competed last April,
Right.
won the overall. So she's qualified for nationals. Is that your goal? Nationals?
For this year, yeah.
Yeah. What are you thinking?
I don't want to rush her because I want to keep all this size on her.
Yeah.
So I want to do a nice slow cut, and I'll be really distracted around July and August with Kamal, and then maybe something after that.
So, you got North Americans, and then you got NPC Nationals.
Yeah.
That's it for later the year. So which one are you thinking? NPC Nationals in December. I'll see you there if you're there.
Yeah, I don't really want to do nationals. I'm really thinking more North Americans.
North Americans.
Yeah.
So that's right at September 1st. It's right after August, or right about August 29th. When's the Master Olympia? Mid-August, right?
First weekend of August.
Yeah, so you're good then. So then after that, you'll be able to dial her ass in.
And then I be back and I can dial her in.
That's perfect. That's what I was about to say. And plus, it's good to have a few shows, just in case she wanted to push. She's not going to, but it's too long, pretty much. But it's good to have a few different shows. Like this year, we picked Universe for most of the athletes because 2 weeks later is USA's, right? So you got Universe, USA's. If by chance you want to keep pushing or whatever, you got North Americans right after that. So North Americans, I'm pretty sure is top 2 to get your pro card in wellness. Yeah. So run it the fuck up.
So we're gonna try to bring her in and just slam the door shut. Hopefully, she's got every bit of the size that she needs.
Yep.
I mean, she's big right now. You can always be bigger. It's wellness, right? But I think she's in a good spot.
And she comes in dirty conditioned. That's what you need. You need to come in peeled like that with the fucking size. Our girl Christina, probably my favorite wellness athlete right now. She's just it. The calves, hamstrings, glutes, everything is phenomenal. She's built for the sport, right? She's built for that division. I gotta say, it's way less quality at nationals. Does that make sense? I hate saying it that way, but the more wellness shows I see almost borderline bikini girls winning it because of the conditioning. Yeah. So you have to bring in nice conditioning. And
that's what I told her. I was like, we're going to have to take you to a level of conditioning you've never had before.
Yep.
So that's why we've been spending so much time bringing her calories up, because I'm like, look, you need this metabolism to get as shredded as I want you to be without dying to get there.
Exactly.
So
yeah, people don't understand that.
It's all worth it when you do the proper off season.
What are her calories at right now? Put them on the spot. You know what I'm saying?
High threes.
High threes, yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
What about she training upper
and then
body?
She's getting quite a few cheat meals too.
Well, she good.
Oh, yeah.
Good.
I let her have a burger anytime she wants it.
Anytime?
Almost anytime.
Almost.
She doesn't want it that much.
Yeah.
So
does she text you when she wants one? Is it like that, or do you give her some freedom in the off season?
She still has to ask.
She still asks. So do you give her weekly cheat meals or no?
Not every week.
Not every week?
Not every week.
Okay, so you're that strict in the off season with her?
Yeah.
Because she wants to win, right?
She wants to win, and because she has the right mindset where she's not sitting around craving dirty foods.
Right.
So if every once in a while she wants a little bit of sushi, as long as she had a good workout, if she wants a burger, she wants to have a date night. Yeah, I mean, you got to live a little bit, and also I think that the food is helping, right? But I really strongly believe this: cheat meals don't drive growth that much like clean food does.
Yep.
Yeah, just higher clean food.
Higher clean food is always going to make you grow more.
Yep.
So that's why I don't really like to rely on that. It's more just so that because we've had a long period, and then we're going to go into another show season. I don't want her to go into the show season being like, I haven't had any shit food. since last year.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm going to crack.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at like Nick Walker's first show. He talks about it actively, how he had that once a week date night refeed. It helped his stress levels go down.
Yeah.
Helped his mindset.
Yeah.
So do you think that's pretty important too? If a client needs that?
Massively, if they need it. If they need, you have to just understand that, like, we're not really robots, man. We're not like, we're not really like that. We don't just run a program. We're like people. We have desires, we have feelings, we have emotions.
Not on this team, okay?
No, I
In
feel
this
that.
team, you're a fucking robot. So I don't hear shit. All right, Natalia, you are a robot because we're gonna swamp everyone.
now,
But I get what you're saying.
So the idea is, how do you get them to live like a robot,
Right.
despite the fact that they're not?
Exactly. And I don't like using Nick Walker as an example because he missed the last 2 Olympias. So,
Sure.
you know what I mean? Does that work? I don't know. He didn't fucking make it to the Olympias.
He did tear his hamstring off the bone.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I get that. But, come on. This last one, come on.
Yeah, sure. He should have stepped on stage. So, do you know any insight on that? Why did he not get on stage? Olympia, 2024.
I don't have insider information, but I have maybe insight into his psyche,
What do you think it is?
which is just, he was like, oh shit, I'm not gonna win. Fuck this. I think it's really that simple. I think that Nick really puts a lot of pressure on himself, and you see how he talks about himself and what he did say about Fitz. At my worst, he can't beat me. So like, when you always put that much pressure on yourself,
You got to do it.
and then you realize like you're not going to live up to the hype, I don't think he could mentally handle. And like, the thing is, it would be worse for him than it would be, like, no one else cares that you dropped a place. Like, will be like, he got so much more flack from dropping out than he would have from just
Yeah.
missing one spot. But for him mentally, seeing himself not at his best would have been worse than just not being there. So I think he did that for himself, to preserve his mental.
It's just frustrating to me, man, because, like, again, we're talking about, or it goes into the whole social media cell phone era. You know what I mean? It's like, you're over here comparing yourself to all these other people instead of just going dark and just, fucking shutting everything off and going, and continuing to fucking execute and be that boring person. That's where it needs to be.
The old school guys are so funny with how they talk about this, because they're like, what do you mean he pulled out of the fucking show?
Yeah, exactly.
We never pulled out of a show.
Fuck, the only thing I pulled out of was your mom. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's literally it.
But it's just like, it's just ridiculous. And then you just have so many people just talking shit. They run their mouth and then they don't execute on what they said, or it just doesn't turn out in their favor.
just keep
And
your
now
mouth
you
shut.
exactly shut the
Dorian
fuck
Yates.
up and work.
You'll ghost mode.
That's it.
So, as a bodybuilding fan, like everyone's been talking about, oh, I want to see picture updates and I want to see this and I want to see that.
That's bad for the sport.
God, I hate it, bro. It's so discouraging for me. Like when I see, I'm sorry, call fucking Derek out. When I see Derek all the fucking time, he's posting weekly updates. I'm not excited about you, bro. Like I have zero fucking excitement about
Now
you.
I know what you look like.
You know what I like? I like Phil Heath. He was probably the last guy that just literally wouldn't show shit.
Yeah.
He might show maybe like a clip or something of him with the shirt on, flex, but he would never show like a full physique update, front, back, sides. What am I? I already see you. Why do I care now?
But do you think that was partially an aspect of his era? Do you think Phil Heath, if he was like coming up right now, do you think he would be able to resist the Instagram temptation?
I think if you're a true bodybuilder, then you should be able to resist, I think. And I think you're right. It's probably just a generational thing. Like you want that instant satisfaction. You want people, look how good he looks. You want people talking about you, but then again, you can have the complete opposite. But the mystery of it is amazing to me. Like
The mystery
that's
is
what I
what
want.
drives your interest in seeing like, oh, who's going to win? Now I have to watch the show because I don't know. But if I
Exactly.
just saw you every week for the last 16 weeks,
I know who's going to win.
I know.
Yep. Or you can get some goon lighting and look like a fucking monster. And then you get on stage and now you have people talking shit about you because, oh, you only post pictures in that goon lighting, but now look at you,
And
it happens all the time.
That just hurts you.
Hurts you bad. So why don't you just put back on the clothes? We need to bring back the Dorian Yates, go shadow mode, Dorian Yates shadow, run it up on people
That's what
and just
I'm
be,
expecting to do this year, man.
Like I think
That's it.
people should just post like a little, like maybe a one pose. They still have their shorts on. Hit me with the most muscular, and that's
Yeah.
all you get to see.
that's it. And honestly, we kind of did that for your prep too.
Like,
I
don't let
think
'em
we
see the
posted like
legs,
one.
Don't let them see the back.
I'm going,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going
Keep,
dark.
keep the little mystery.
Keep the mystery. Show up and give the fans what they want to see. You know what I'm saying? Like I want, dude, how cool was it back in the day, bro, when you would have just Dorian just go off. And it was before I was in my even time. Let's be honest. I was like 3. And then just having him come back, or like same thing with Phil Heath, bro.
Imagine someone doing that now.
What is Phil Heath doing right now? Like, what is he doing? He's just in the fucking, he's grinding, right? And you show up and I'm about my business, boom, win. That is amazing. And I think that the more you post, I feel like you're almost like less hard on yourself. You know, like you should be hard on yourself if you don't post anything. Like you should be able to get better because you want to transform. You know what I'm saying? That's your motivation. My motivation, next time you fucking see me, watch. But if you see me all the time, who gives a shit?
Because when you don't post, you're like, well, the only chance I have to make a statement is going to be on stage.
Yep.
So this is my only chance to reach the fans. It's my only chance to prove myself. Better fucking do it. But whereas if you're always on social media, maybe that doesn't drive you as much anymore.
Instant gratification versus delayed gratification.
Yeah.
Which one is worth more?
Always delayed.
It's always going to be the delayed gratification.
Well, it's going to mean more.
It's going to mean more.
And it's going to probably result to something big.
Yeah.
This is small.
I want to fucking take the stage and, take it by surprise. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to talk shit. All I know is I'm going to put my foot down, put my head down, put my hoodie on, and just fucking grind. That's it.
Why don't people enjoy that now? I love it. That's the only thing I like.
I love that. I mean, when we went for my fucking pro card, you're like, take your shirt off. I'm like, I don't fucking want to take
I made him do it, though. Because I made him do it.
Make me take my shirt
I
off.
remember that, actually, because I didn't know how good he looked. And I'm his fucking coach. I got to see him, right? And he never really sends checking that he's bad at that. So, I'm like, all right, I got to see you, bitch. So I remember I went to the gym and I'm working out and I'm like, all right, let me see what he looks like. Take your shirt off. And he did it. And that's probably the first time I really, truly thought that we could do it for sure. Like turn him pro 100%. I was like, all right, he's getting there, and then it's like next week, all right, he's getting there. And then he hits it. And all right, now we're there. Now it's game time,
It's going to be that same mentality, brother. This is like, this year, an apology to myself, an apology to fucking God. And I'm going to just bear the cross, embrace the suffering, put my fucking head down and grind. I don't give a shit.
I mean, if I could do it 100%, you could do it.
Absolutely.
100%.
You can do it, man.
Not 99%, you know what I'm saying? Not 110% the whole time.
Absolutely. It's too easy, bro.
And it's done.
I'm just going to go dark, dude. I don't care anymore. I don't care. I'm too old for the bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
But dude, you know what I think that a lot of this has to do with, and maybe showing my age and my affiliations here a little bit, but like, I think this is just an aspect of like our culture. If you think about like just society as a whole, the whole, like what we used to talk about was the participation trophy mentality generation, right? Like everyone was told growing up that they could do it and it was going to be easy and that they deserve to win. So if you like live your whole life thinking like, I just deserve this regardless of how hard I work, you won't work as hard as other people.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yep. Every time.
Every time.
Literally every single time. But all right, dude, Adam, you're the freaking best, man. You're the man.
Appreciate you.
Thanks for driving all the way down here. I know you didn't have to do it, but honestly, we covered so much topic. Like, this was amazing. I'm glad we get you on by yourself, get to hear your ins and outs. We will definitely be doing an Olympia prediction video. We want you to come on,
That'd be awesome,
maybe in a Masters one. We'll have some fun with
Masters
that.
Olympia.
We had to remind people, like the old school will never freaking die. And there's a reason for that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
There's a reason why all those guys looked as good as they did. Like you don't always have to constantly be reinventing the wheel. You just have to be reinventing how hard you're willing to work.
Exactly. 100%. And you close it off right there. That's perfect.
That's money.
Perfect. All right, man. Tell the camera, what do they got to do on YouTube?
Hey, yo, you better like, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you know when we're posting more of these vids. This one's coming out Friday. So, hey, again, we appreciate you coming out here, brother. Yeah, man. Much respect.
The best.
Much love, many blessings. And let's go, yo.
Let's go.
Let's go.